Okay.
Well, welcome to today's ITAM Kitchen, the place where we talk about topics that are relevant to our world, right? Relevant to what we do every day. We've been going strong since January 7th. So we've been doing this over a month now. And I have some great contributors as well. Here I have Deanna and Rob. Deanna Hager, as well as Rob Collins, that join me on a regular basis. We have a lot of great discussions and being able to say, okay, what can we talk about next, right? Um, and as we do that, our topic today is work on that job description. We started working on that last week and on Thursday. I wanted to finish it up because we only got we only got halfway. So being able to put that in place and wrap that up. So we have Deanna and Rob here. I don't know if Don's going to join us or not. If he does, he can definitely chime in, make that happen too, and we'll make that occur. And then also on as far as in the chat, if you're here live, you hear anything like that, feel free to join us. Absolutely. And here's Dawn as well.
Good morning,
Mr. Midland, how are you?
I'm here, buddy.
That's good to have you. Good to have you. Absolutely. So working on job descriptions a little bit further. Let me find a piece of paper and put that forward. So let me ask this question. When it comes to job descriptions, what have you personally learned since last week to help us prepare for today? And I say that just from personal knowledge, job hunt, anything like that. What's been that epiphany you've had, or maybe that insight you've gained since last Thursday, since we chatted? Whoever wants to start, just jump right in.
One of the things I found is I always have to go to this new style of resume formatting. You put out a job and you say, well, you don't have it in the right format. I'm going, this has worked for over 40 years. What do you mean it's not in the right format? So.
Is it the ATS format?
Yeah.
And do they ever give you any feedback on that?
Yeah, they want me to spend $200-300 to have my resume redone.
Okay, this did come up before, because people were running into that, and really what it is, it's just you have a need, you want a job, and there's people that are offering this service, and that's about the price point for it. It's anywhere from $150 to $300, and they'll do the resume and it'll be perfect. But sure enough, if you get somebody and you do that resume, you submit that, you'll get requests for more service to do the exact same thing that you just did. So be wary of that. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the headhunters, like 3 or 4 of them, oh, you don't have this. And I'm going, all the things you're asking for are in my resume.
Yeah.
No, it's not in this format.
Yeah. They want to lure you in. Rich Rosen is a guy that works for Cornerstone. They're a recruiting organization. They happen to be in the Forbes top 10, and he said, "Don't even." What was it? He wants you to correspond directly with him. Send the resume directly to him. He's not going to change it. And he will get back with you, and that's how he connects. And you can go out and you can look on his website. You can go out, you can check the validity of the job. You can do all the things of that because Forbes has recognized him as legit. And he's one of these recruiters that's going to do that. And you want to search for those recruiters, and that's where you want to attach yourself on those that you trust or that you know will do the right job for you.
No, that's great. And we were actually just talking about a little bit of this just before we joined today, because I just, it's interesting because you know what this format means? Recruiters are lazy.
Yeah.
They're not in their own work.
Yeah, they used to do this for us.
Yeah.
Well, there's a rare breed, and what I want is a recruiter that whenever he or she contacts me, or I reach out to them, I immediately become a VIP in the way he looks at me in my relationship. He's more interested in doing the best for me at that point in time, and he treats me that way. We correspond that way. We collaborate that way. We work together. There's a relationship, and the relationship is a strong build of trust.
Mm-hmm.
And that's and by the way, that's what we should be doing. We should be looking at our customers as VIPs whenever we're in this game. I always tried to do that and look out for their best. I've practiced that for many years.
Well, Rob, you seem pretty versed on the topic as far as working the different formatting. Maybe we should do a special session on just that. We talk about that a little bit, and from two perspectives. One, trying to educate. Okay, what's the difference? And maybe number two, kind of shred it. Let's tear this apart, and I say that being constructive, right? And say, okay, here's how we have to look at it a little different to help us with that mindset, help that framework. Because Don, I absolutely agree with where you are. It's like, guys, seriously, do some homework, right? You want to compensate it, earn it. You'd be surprised what I have to go through with the executives, right? We're each of us, right?
Right.
So, and you're just rubber stamping this, and you want it to continue to format. You're going to pay this money for somebody else to do it. It's like, it doesn't work.
It's worse than that. It's worse than that, because all it really is it's just a grinder. So you just feed documents in, and all they're doing is basically sifting and searching number of keywords that are matched, and that kind of thing. That's if they're even actual recruiters, because a whole bunch of them aren't. They're just, I can do one of two things. I'm going to sell a $200 service to somebody who thinks that this is going to help them get a job. And then the other end of that is, say, since you're not doing anything, wouldn't you like to be somebody that writes these up for people, and we'll pay you like $30 an hour for it? But then you're not going to get a lot of billable hours though either. You just become part of that same machine. So it isn't all AI yet.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe this is a topic we need to talk about. We can set an entire hour on this alone. Let's dig into that in the next couple of days if you want. Rob, let's work on a schedule and see we want to do it.
Do some research.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that, because I'd love to, because I didn't even think about that aspect. Because I know I personally was impacted by this just recently, like the last day myself. It's like, what in the world was all this about? Okay. You just didn't even have a conversation. It just wasn't even, there was no dialogue. On top of it, the people on the inside already knew who I was. And they wanted me submitted. So again, we can have fun with this to no degree. And I won't talk about the company name because I'm not trying to trash anybody, because everyone's struggling with it. But I think as a core topic that, honestly, I'll say first time I've ever experienced it, and it's not all about me. Well, this partially is, but it's more about helping others to understand, okay, how do we overcome and work through this, right? Because it's kind of mind-blowing. But again, that's just a topic. Let's do that for its future, but that's great that you brought that up, Deanna. So I appreciate that, and Don, appreciate that contributions in there too. Let's see what we can do to compass this all back together. We understand the detail, then we can figure out, okay, how do we move forward? Because it takes multiple aspects to do that, and you have to have some pretty thick skin to work through the system anymore. Yeah. It's not. You do. Yeah. But we'll work through that. But bringing us back to core topic, oh my gosh, it's funny how we get on these little tangents, but this is great because this is exactly this is the purpose. So think about it. I'll put it in perspective, right? ITAM Kitchen. It's about having those topics. Keep in mind, we all have parties in our houses, things like that. We always end up around the island and the kitchen. If you have an island, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's right. This is kind of that island chat. Well, I'd love to be on an island too, but that's a whole different part.
He's on his way to the island.
Islands,
there we go.
There you go.
Never know what's going to happen with me sometimes. But anyways, that's the whole idea behind the ITAM Kitchen. Have a dialogue where we're friends coming together. That's the whole idea. But being able to further refine that, right? And let's talk about topics like this, because this is stuff it's real, right? The job description is too. So that's why I want to finish this up on the real job description, because I think it's, I know I've done a little bit of homework since the weekend. I know you guys have, because I was working on my own job description and further explored that. It's like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe where that ended up. which is great. But let's work with the general one we were talking about and further refine it because we were only halfway. So once we get that refined, then we can say, okay, how do we refine our own and have it, I wouldn't say mimic, but similar representation, because we're all going to have different needs. Like Deanna, you're in training. Rob, you've got the military in the background plus government. That's huge, right? I'd love to see a government implementation done correctly. Oh my God, I'd love it. So I would feel much better about tax dollars going there if that's the case. I'll put it that way for your Rob in charge, Rob. And then Don, you're right there. Okay, how are we going to do it? And oversee the leadership on the financial side. Okay. The governance is in place. I mean, there's something to be said for that. That's a great team, right?
Right.
And work on communication. So as we said that, okay, let's just dive right in. Because let me show a little bit what we did last week.
Let's get back to that exercise. I thought that was really good.
Yeah. No, it was definitely good. I didn't put on the other smart board because I need to type a little bit, and in type it's a little bit more of a struggle. So I threw it back in here.
It's a discussion with visual aids.
Yeah. We were talking actually just before the call that some of us have broadcasting experience in different forms. And that's kind of like what this is. This is broadcasting a whole different form. I know I've done more radio. Deanna, you've done more TV cable. So it's interesting. Mm-hmm. You never know you're going to run into it. It's a very small world on that side. So let me start from the top where we started from on this one and kind of a little bit of a recap. We had a solution consultant, right? We talked about the business technology, how we're moving that forward, and have my Grammarly providing a little bit of wordsmithing in here. We'll add that a little bit later. That's fine. We added some governance. We added specialized industry with some wordsmithing in there. Being able to put us in here, client-facing type pre-sales role, and being able to put that in place. Great activities. We talk about pain points, collaboration. You want practices for multiple customer engagements. I'll be honest, this is not where you've only had experience on site for 5 years. It's not that type of role. This is one where you've been around and you have that scar tissue. Let's put it away. You have those welts and you feel it from the engagements and activities, and you learn how to communicate. That's where the soft skills also come into play, right? Because you have the consulting down, and this consulting doesn't happen in 3 months. It doesn't, right? As well as we said, a little bit of delegation in here and help that proficiency to delegate to other individuals if you need. Which brings us to the technical skills. We have technical, technology, and expected outcomes that we were up to. So from there, why don't we just dig right into it? Does that work, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get a format here where you guys can see the screen. Will that work? Oh, there we go. How's that look on screen? Pretty good?
It looks good.
Okay, cool. Or is that too small?
I'm on a fairly large monitor, so I can see it.
I can see it.
I do
solicit
too.
feedback
I can see it.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're able to see it, that's awesome. Let's do that.
Okay.
Make it happen. I just want to make sure you can see it because I've got monitors all over the place. So my representation in front of me is probably not what you see on screen. So let's move that forward.
Technical skills.
If you're in the chat, if you're online, whether it's LinkedIn or YouTube, feel free to put your comments in there, your suggestions as well. We're open. This is about collaboration. And we have 4 of us here online. And again, we've been around in different experiences, but also your input's extremely important as well. Or if you have questions along the way, please put you in the Q&A. Put that in there. So we're definitely all ears on that too. So I'll put that a little back in there. Any questions, put them in the chat. Okay, so technical skills, broad understanding of ITAM capabilities and operating models. That too broad, or do we need to narrow that in a little bit?
Well, you go into detail when you go down the various different skills bulleted throughout the rest of the page.
Okay, we can do that. Perfect.
It does it. I like that second one. If you've been around for 8 to 10 years, then you've had your hand in a couple of the different tool sets, and that's various tool sets that are going to do parts of asset management and how that interfaces within service management. And so that's a really good one there. This would also be one of those where I would ask for a candidate, I want you to describe your specific experience. I want you to tell me the tools, tell me what you did, workflows, etc., and how you communicated and worked across the different silos. Because you're going to collab with HR in a big way. And then, of course, if you're going to be an ITAM expert, you're going to be collaborating across at least 4 different silos that I see right off the top of my head. You're going to be talking to finance, you're going to be talking to IT, and you're going to be talking to like your service desk system, whoever does fulfillment and deployment, right? And then you're going to have that channel also to information security, because while you're doing your thing, running discoveries, etc., that's going to show them all the platforms they need to search for vulnerabilities against. If we have it in our inventory, we need to be able to defend it. If we have it operational and in use, we damn sure better be defending it actively.
Yeah. So the only thing that comes to mind with the ERP, right? I struggle. I know what it means at ERP, old school, right?
Yeah.
Do we need to be more specific on that and say like?
Yeah, I really think we do. I
findings?
think what you need to have there is an understanding of the enterprise business services too. It's part of the business service associated with that's what it really gets down to. So I think you have to look at it from that viewpoint. Somebody has to have an understanding of what those business services are.
Because I could put contract management in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's all sorts of things.
Vendor-sized
Yeah, that's a been, you basically you take every aspect of what's going on with the enterprise itself in that silo, if you wanted to break it that way, and then you look at that holistically, and you got to have a smattering of understanding in that entire enterprise holistic viewpoint and what drives it at the top in those business services.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's where I want to make sure we put it in there. That's why I was wondering if we need clarity, because what I'm finding,
I would see
today's youth, youth don't understand some of the detail behind that, right?
Yeah, they always, and quite honestly, when you look at it that way, where does financial ops fall, really?
Mm-hmm.
It's a business service. Why do we call it ITAM financial ops? Because we are a part of that business service, and we have to integrate in at that level to provide the input and things that are needed. So I really want, and this is an important point to the people that's listening on this chat this morning. If you can grasp that, it'll open up a whole different viewpoint of the way you look at what's happening, because now we're talking about business services and I always say putting IT and business together. I'm going to start saying it's the enterprise. It's putting the enterprise together, which includes business and IT, and getting them all talking on the same language. And that absolutely is what opens up the door to being able to be a unique person within this arena. If you can get an understanding on that, and if you want to drill down in that, and you guys have anything you ever want to just, I'm not going to go any deeper than that today, Bill. So I'm just going to cut it.
No, it's a good point. But that's where I've seen a little bit of a gap from a clarity of understanding, I'll say, for today's youth. And I say youth in general terms. It's actually not even a age thing, but it's more how much time you've put within the space. Again, we work with it. We have a lot of technologists going, okay, we're getting certified, we're going through this, but they don't really understand the core terms because not been taught. They just don't know, right? They haven't run into that, which I'm glad you're hearing it here versus being on a customer site. If it's the first time you're being hear that, right? Because I want you to be educated when you walk in front of the customer. It's like, oh yeah, I heard about that. I don't exactly know what's happening, but let me get some more research and I know where to go. I'm going to come back to the ITAM Kitchen, ask the guys, and there you go. But there you hear you. A little commotion on the research.
Yeah, my
Is there anything
research.
else you need to add on that integration?
That's no, not really about integration, but in relation to that, the reason that exists today with the younger generation is because they weren't educated in that in the technology realm. My research now has shown that the universities took governance and training and that aspect out of that. It's a big part of what's going on, and the education is for it's lacking, and they're wrong, and we need to push. And there's we can push from various different levels, not just from the the advisors or me talking on this thing. We got to get it back in. It should be part of the education. They should come off with the knowledge of what that's all about.
Yeah.
And it should be there, and it should be a required thing. And
So
what
let's
happened was
let's keep the flow going. Let's keep the flow
okay.
going.
Let's keep going. That's enough.
Because we can
for
always
that.
go down tangent. That's cool. But at the same
It's
time,
it's not a tangent. It's a necessity.
Definitely. I'm not shutting you down for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
absolutely
main
necessary.
topic is here.
But I won't go down any deeper. I'll back off.
It's all good. It's all good. Keep in mind, we're all around the island in the kitchen having a chat, so it's all good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this
I'll
is
tell
good.
you. Yeah. I'll tell you one of them that's up there is the ability to configure demo environments and build sample dashboards.
Yeah.
Yes.
For an ITAM specialist, I'm not going to require them to be that technically deep. But what I would do is I would say, I want you to meet the head of our engineering team. It's Sam. Sam, meet the candidate. You guys will work together to do this. Now, get up there on that whiteboard and show me your ability to sketch high-level process flows and data flows. And now, at a high level, diagram out what we need to put together. Because they don't necessarily have to be the expert in all of these things. But can you work with my expert? Good. You're 3 points higher on the scale now to get the job.
Right.
Okay. So, did you see what I just added to that?
Yeah.
So I like the configure / demo environments. I always think that's a knee-jerk reaction because on environments, I'll just say from ServiceNow, right?
Yeah.
They have a demo environment. You used to have. There's no configuring. So I'm almost tempted to put that on a separate line as far as the demo environments versus build sample dashboards and process flows. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it could be a different line. And really what I want there is I want to understand the why of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah.
we're technical right now.
Yeah.
No.
It's a big deal.
Wouldn't that help us to understand their gaps?
It absolutely does. The why is the whole reason around what you do, and if you're just doing it from a technical standpoint, you're missing the boat.
Yeah, if you were looking at this from the perspective of I'm going to consult, you're the customer, and I'm going to help you figure this out. But from the perspective of I'm hiring somebody that's going to do that, right? Then that's a different standpoint, because that's where we're focused. So it's like I'm trying to find here's a great quote. I'm trying to find somebody that's got everything from A to Z, knowing good and well they're going to be missing some P's and Q's.
Well, now you're talking about an orchestrator.
You said that's the title to your next book?
Well, it was dating advice from a very long time ago, but it's applicable. But it's applicable when you're trying to put together a team, and as high performance coaches, etc. I'm sure that you recognize that.
I'm just going to tempt you. It's even deeper than that, and I'm going to go say another word about what that is stated. It's deeper than that.
That's cool. Okay, so how do we want to the sample dashboards, the technology? Again, it's about technology, right?
Yeah.
How do you want that to be? Because I put the process flows on the separate line because I just thought about that. Let's just put that separately.
Okay.
Do we need to? How do we want to expand this next to the last technical item I have?
Would they also want to know what can we do RACI charts, RACI matrices? Because I've seen that in a number of job descriptions lately. They're out asking for the RACI charts.
Well, we're not supposed to profile people. I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
but that's still the. but to that point, right? This is typically going to be a one-time activity with an annual review. This isn't going to be a continuous thing, unless you're hiring somebody to develop and build the ITAM program.
Exactly. You're trying to craft the solution at this point.
Yeah, then that's a whole other level.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Now, some individuals like us will be able to say, okay, let's go a little bit deeper. You want a little teaser, let's go into it. Then we'll come right back. We can do that. We have the capabilities, but not everybody's going to have that level of expertise. It's okay. But going back to the last one, the demo environments and build sample dashboards. Do we want to add to that? Leave it? That's true technology requirement, right?
It is.
I think it's good.
Yeah. You want to demoing. You want to. I think I want a guy that's going to explain why this capability is there and what it brings to the table as it relates to what you're trying to solve for this customer in their pain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, do we want to call out different technologies or just leave it generic like that? I mean, specifically, we could say ServiceNow, we could say Flexera, we could say Avanti, take a pick, right?
Like if it's ITSM solutions, there's a bunch of those out there. ServiceNow is like the Cadillac and the one that's got the most marketing behind it. And it's terrifically complicated, right? But if you're going to step back and you're going to say, let's just talk about ITAM systems, for instance, well, there's quite a few that are pretty decent out there. Like one of them that I had experience with a while back is Manage Engines, Asset Explorer, and they've since been through a couple of other iterations. But for me, it provided the very best view I've ever had in an environment with deployed assets. And I had my knowledge on what I had within my asset register, if you will, the total inventory, everything that's in stock and also in operation, throughout the entire life cycle. So that was a great tool. And I've got into Flexera recently. It was a very interesting run through with a lot of high dollar partnerships. So if you have things like ServiceNow experience and Flexera experience, and and by the way, I actually interfaced them successfully. Dude, 120K, get on board.
Yeah. Well, it's like knowing I need an API to connect two different programs, but I don't need to. I don't personally know how to create an API.
No, I got 5 guys in a shop, in an engineering shop. They all know APIs, and that's what they do every single day. Give it to them. Plus, it's cheaper than my rate. So,
knowing how to integrate them.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. What other platforms? Like, I'd like to hear from y'all. What other platforms have you guys got hands-on experience with, or knowledge, or have taught for that matter?
I used Peregrine for a long time. That was a long time ago.
Well, Peregrine. I mean, Bill and I are probably a rare breed in this arena, and possibly you, Deanna, a little bit. We saw all the initial inputs of who the asset management tools were at that point in time.
Okay.
Each had its own different flavor. Peregrine was the most holistic view that was out there on the marketplace, which is where they needed to be. They all needed to be.
Yeah. Did y'all ever do like an assessment of a candidate tool for a customer?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. I want to step back just a little bit. You can have a high level integration. CloudStrike had its own, and so does Microsoft has its own, and they can publish those. But what good is those high level integrations if they don't follow the underlying governance around that? So it's more of bringing that into knowledge. You integrate, but you integrate with that knowledge, so that you don't do stupid things like ignore it.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, from a
Think of it
solution
all.
consultant, right? At this point, we've put the requirements out here to say, okay,
Yeah.
we're going to gather,
I know.
identify gaps, right? So we've got
I know.
that. We're talking about solution. We're not talking about delivery.
No,
So
we're
we've
not.
got,
But
so we
in
need
a
some
in a
soft
solution,
skills,
if
some
I,
technical
okay.
skills, but we've got to be very focused where we are. Otherwise, we're not going to get through this.
No, I agree with you, Bill. But in the background, when you look, you
Don,
want to
we're
have
going to pull us
that.
back in.
Okay. Okay.
Because we've got to, we're limited on time. We're already 30 minutes into it, right?
Yeah,
So
we're
we've got
30 in.
Okay. I'm sorry.
so from a technical skills perspective, is there anything else we need to add into this? Again, we're having kitchen chat. Is the best way to put it, right? Friends around that kitchen island trying to figure out, okay, how we put this forward. We talk about process flows, which I just realized was up here. Okay, I didn't read my own chicken scratch.
So there will most certainly be more, right? And that's one of those things where, okay, great. Somebody grab a pen, break out a napkin, and let's write down the what. And I want to also to help us move along and get to everything. About how far through it are we right now with half the time done?
Yep. Yeah, and that's going to happen, right? So again, we're just providing a template from a high level perspective, and we were talking about, I think we either mentioned last week or maybe it was one off air last week, that this could take you a week if you get the entire team. Okay, what do you need to do, et cetera, or it's going to take you a couple of days to figure out what you need for you. Right. I know when I started working on this over the weekend, just for myself, I further extended what this would. I bet I spent a good 4 to 6 hours on it, right? To say, okay, how do you further put that in? So again, we've got the foundation. That's what we're talking about. And how we further expand is up to us. Yeah. But this is kind of say, okay, from a job description, how can we provide a template? Again, our core, bring us to core effort. How can we provide a template so that the customers, users, the companies can say, here's something to start from versus us being all across the board today on job descriptions, right? Yeah. That's the core crux to where we are. Lots of other colleagues or commentary we can add to that. Absolutely. Yeah. Is there anything else we need to add to the technical skills?
I'd say we could, but for the purpose of this exercise, I think it's just fine. And these efforts can take months to do properly. If anything, it'd be wonderful to offer a session on how to pull together a job description.
Totally.
The end in mind.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you have to remember that your customer is HR in this arena,
and the hiring manager.
And the hiring manager. Yeah, but HR is the entity that's publishing this thing out, and it is. Yeah, you're right.
It kind of varies actually, but yes, absolutely right. So that I think that's part of our challenge is everybody has different ways they do it. Also, when you start applying it, you might find out they don't even allow you to put in a description. They just look for titles when you put in your resume. When you put
right.
information there too. So it's interesting. But let's have a whole separate session on the application, how we do that, because I think that does deserve merit on that.
Yeah, it does. Let's look at it.
Is there anything else on technical skill? I mean, I could always say discovery if you want their discovery in here, as well as seem to be. I don't know.
Yes.
Well, discovery is a major because of all that, knowing the IP ranges and knowing that if things are blocked behind firewalls.
Well, that's and also just say workflow processes throughout the entire ITAM, throughout the entire asset lifecycle. Yep. Because if you're going to hire them to do this, they've got to understand how those things work and how material feeds through from beginning to end. And that starts with specs, then purchase.
Got that work?
Working with preferred vendors, knowing not to just buy something off the shelf or going on a Radio Shack, but it doesn't exist anymore.
Platforms. Yeah, you could say that. Like you could add another line: familiarity with key ITAM platforms. Okay, also familiarity with major ITAM players, or vendors, suppliers. Yes, they do. Well, they don't have to be experts in that, but they have to have good conversations with the experts.
And disposal companies.
Yep.
In and out.
And the disposal stuff actually extends a little further because I want them to have an intimate knowledge of the regulations that drive those requirements.
Yeah, So the question I have on the procurement, I understand the procurement because we're talking about procurement technologies. We're not talking about companies, right?
Tech. I guess you'd also say companies. If they're
Well,
going to work with whoever you tell them to work with.
yeah. So here's my thought, right? When it comes, I use disposal. I won't even throw procurement. I'll throw disposal. From a disposal perspective, tell me where you want to go. I can hit anybody, right? Let's just put it there. It's not about the company. It's about understanding how to do it and pull the data back. That's why I was trying to further get clarity on. That's what goes through my brain when we talk about identify the companies versus integrations.
Right.
Mhm.
Is that also true for procurement?
For functions.
I like it.
Okay.
But I think
Functions.
they need to be familiar with it.
Yes, they need to be familiar.
No, that's cool. Something like that, or do we need to add more? Again, I'm just trying to get clarity because I think we were going down the company side, and it's like, well, let's pull back a little bit because I think we need a higher level of dialogue.
Yeah.
Right. Because I can always say, okay, you're going to go do Oracle, or you're going to go do PeopleSoft, and take your pick on HR, et cetera. They're all out there, right? Or disposal companies, they're a dime a dozen.
Disposal ramifications.
What's that?
Disposal ramifications. That means if you don't, what happens if you do not dispose correctly?
Was that under technical, or is that
Okay.
the ramifications? Is that technical, or is that more your skills and activities? It's not an activity.
Well, you need to understand what happens if you do not dispose correctly.
Yeah.
I agree, but that's not our technical skill, is it?
No, that's going to be something different. That's going to be like understanding of the legal environment or understanding of the risk of
There we go.
not following processes, which is how so many companies come together with consultants because you just didn't do what you said you were going to do. That's why we have discovery.
Yay.
Because they didn't write down what they bought properly and then share that information with the enterprise.
Yep.
So who cares? I'm going to take a few of these boxes and hand them out to the kids. And
Oh no, I think it's great. I think it's a great topic. Kind of like what we're talking about there.
Yeah.
Just
for
the
that particular
technical
function, you want them to be certified.
Mm.
Yep.
You see. Okay.
Oh, I know what I was going to put in there.
Yeah.
I need the life cycle.
Yeah. There you go. ITAM and CM life cycle. You got to get it all.
That's cool. That's cool. It's looking good. Looking good. Is there anything else we need to add on the technical side?
There's always stuff, but for the purpose of this exercise, no, I think we should move to the tech.
Yeah, and let me put a note on the technical skills. So something just came to mind. Is sometimes you say you need to know Java and all these different operating different platforms.
If you're a developer,
Yeah.
Get caught up in that, right? Oh, they're out there all the time. Even for you have to do it for demos, et cetera. And you're going to know. You're going to skim over it. That's great. So you may have understanding of it, but don't get caught up in saying you have to know Java or anything like that.
no.
Or SQL, or that definitely you're going to learn as you go through this. Absolutely. Okay, different technologies. Okay, I'm here. ITSM, ITM, SAM. Okay, so technology is solution consultant. That's our key role.
Yeah, there's one there. ITSM CMDB relationship is a good one because it's just how the tools are designed. That's why such an emphasis on CMDB and not the asset management stuff. So, but definitely an understanding of where those two meet, what part of the life cycle they fall under and cover, and how you put them together and integrate them.
Yes.
With help of an engineer or what have you.
Is that enough time? 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, 3 to 5 years is good. That's basic. You've gotten some bruises by your third year. So
yeah, we have some significant experience in here. So it's kind of
learn through lumps.
Yep. Finance procurement system awareness, 2 to 4 years.
It's whatever the reporting tool du jour is. It's some people are Microsoft shop, some people are Google shop. Just if you can learn a BI reporting tool, or if I could put you together with an expert and owner of a reporting tool,
Yep.
that's enough. We don't need more than that.
Okay, so we've talked about Sam and Ham. We have, or Sam and ITAM. Depends which tool I'm talking about. You have ITSM seem to be. You have ERP procurement. We're not hitting some of the other parts we were talking about before, say like discovery. Having experience, hands-on experience with any of that, or are we going to assume that's coming from the seem to be?
No, I would definitely want somebody to have some exposure to discovery technologies. Why? Because everybody that doesn't want to pay full price for the discovery modules is going to use alternates, and they're going to import, and that's what they're going to do. And it's a tough habit, but the price point for the formal tools is too high, and most folks avoid it. Most companies do. So they're going to say, oh, well, we're going to use Intune, which is good, or we're going to use whatchamacallit. I even go all the way as far back as like PowerShell scripting and Azure. At least when I was doing it, it was definitely a PowerShell scripting was a heavy part of the rotation, and that was finding my devices and loading all that baseboard information in automatically. You just key it off and let it run, or do a cron job 6 a.m. And it'll do its thing, and security is going to gripe about it, but tough. This is a necessary function.
Well, so for pre-sales and the solution consulting, do you really need to understand that?
No, if it's all pre-sales, I don't think so. Just can you describe the benefits and sell to whoever you're selling to? Because there's two different like expectation sets there.
Right. How much experience?
3 years is adequate. I'd even say 2 years. You don't even have to go. You don't have to go further than that. And then even then, there could be exceptions made. If they had rich experience in less than 2 years, I might consider them as ahead of the pack as far as people.
Sure. Okay, that's cool. Any other thoughts? Anybody? Something's missing in the technology?
No, so discovery is discovery. You want accuracy, and you can get accuracy, but it's all dependent upon how it's integrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say office products.
Yeah. Typical stuff. If you had a job,
Excel was in here, it just wasn't in there. What was that, Rob? I didn't hear you.
I was going to say, if you had a job, most of the time, you're going to come with a couple of years at least of experience in all Microsoft tools. Unless your company's seeks alternative vendors, in which case you're going to grow up with like Google tools that do the same stuff that Microsoft does.
Yeah.
Do you want to throw AI in here at all?
Not yet. I'm sorry.
Let's say some early familiarity and then 2 years of experience, prompt engineering, and just leveraging AI to work product. And then now tell me about the work product that you did and tell me how you got there. That's enough.
From the chat, we have Curtis Paul saying background in systems engineering helps.
Yes, it does. He's on target. He's right on target.
Engineering, caught it. Yeah, absolutely.
Come on, spelling.
It's okay. So do you want to put that up here? Sorry, I didn't see that earlier. Curtis.
Well, if you look at what's up there, somebody with a background in sys engineering is gonna. So if there's some place that you just want to encourage folks to do it, make it close to the top. Special consideration given to background in systems engineering or previous pre-sales experience or any liaison work you do within any of the ITAM silos or any of the IT silos.
You're hitting a couple of key points, which is great. We don't have, so some of the nuggets you just threw out, we don't have captured.
We don't have to capture them, but just to mention it is enough. They're actually captured on the recording. So if anybody looks at this and they're asking themselves, how do I help myself hire people and write proper position descriptions? Then this will show up. The other thing too is you mentioned that brainstorming sessions for things like this, if it's intense and you buy the pizza and the snacks and do all of those things and load your whiteboards up and digitally capture, these things can take 4 days.
Yeah.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Um,
This isn't an hour-long activity if you're going to do it seriously. I mean, you could do it in an hour.
oh yeah, exactly. So,
Garbage-
but I was
garbage
putting in
in,
here
garbage out.
experience. Yeah, I was putting in here. So if you have experience as a solution consultant with writing proposals, that's where I was going with.
Methods and procedures.
Write a business case.
Yep, business days, yep.
Why should I
Yeah.
spend $500,000 on a couple of tools and maybe a team funded of 5 for a year for, let's say, a 10,000 person organization?
Okay.
Just throw that in there.
Yep.
Again, we're asking for the moon, so we might as well ask and make sure it's clear, which is
Yeah.
typical of what we're missing in today's world. Okay, got some of that in there. Perfect. Kind of
Let's
hit
see
this
those
one there.
expected outcomes. Yeah.
Yeah, so expect outcomes. Just 4 things. That's it. ITAM solutions are aligned to the real business needs and constraints. Clear and compelling business cases that accelerate business executive buy-in and funding. A higher success rate for ITAM projects because of expectation designs are realistic. And consistent, repeatable messaging on ITAM value across customer types and regions. That touches on it.
Do we want to get into agile and knowing how to do the process of going? I mean, one company I worked with, they did change management every day.
Okay.
Okay,
Doable.
20 to 30 changes every day into the CMDB.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good path for them too, by the way. If you are trying to populate CMDB with the most accurate information, be with the team live looking at it on screen with one person doing the entry.
Yeah.
1 hour.
Right, but that's not expected outcomes. That's more your
Right.
intelligent process,
Agile
right?
environment, that's all okay.
Well, it's not just agile; it's just in general, right?
Yeah.
Integration.
There's
well,
moving
I'm
away
not
from
listening to you.
waterfall.
What's that?
Waterfalls everywhere.
Waterfall. I mean, we're moving away from waterfall because of how long it takes, and we're moving familiarity with an agile environment.
Yeah, as an inactive Marine, I'm all for agile. I love that.
Yeah.
Just
Well, you're into the transformation arena when you start talking about these tools.
Well, that's where we worked. Well, that's where I worked.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yes.
And a good ITAM person cannot divorce themselves from the transformation aspect.
No, absolutely. I don't know if I put that in the tech. Is that skills?
It's the very nature that it needs to be current. It needs to be complete. Needs to be correct. Those make it confident. They give you confidence. That's the 4th C, as I like to say.
Yeah.
Right.
No, absolutely. Okay. No, we're looking good.
deal.
We've got some from Curtis Paul here. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to ignore you.
Oh,
there,
yeah,
Curtis. Service management implementation background is helpful as well, considering the service request processes are involved in whatever ITM solution of firm pitching. I think that's good. That's a
Yeah,
great
to
point.
Curtis's point, if they're going to be in pre-sales, that's perfect experience right there, because they're basically going to be talking to the customer, working with their other sales associates, and they're going to be trying to make that sale.
Oh, boy.
Sell ITAM.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Mm. This is big, but you can see where a description like this can mushroom.
Yeah.
That is. That's exactly what this is. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And what's even better is we have senior individuals helping define this.
Yeah.
Right. It's not being done by an HR person who's never, they're still trying to figure out what an asset means, having an asset means. So I say it tongue in cheek, but there you go.
But they don't need to know that for their day-to-day operations. That's one of those things that only comes up occasionally.
Oh, yeah. I was just talking to a recruiter yesterday. She's doing great. She says, yeah, it's not right. It's like, no, that's totally cool. Totally cool. Okay, back to expected outcomes.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, we're in the final 9 minutes here. Wow. This is
perfect.
This got quick.
I think we're going to hit target.
Anything else we want to add to this?
Perfect.
The word alignment comes to mind.
It will be realistic and they'll be better designed in the future.
Well, I'm thinking about alignment of sales, pre-sales, and customer expectations.
Yeah. If you can hire somebody that's a break it down person, a break it down woman, or a break it down man, that helps tremendously. And if they've got the gift of gab,
which none of us do. None of us do. No. I want to say something about trust advisor, but I'm open for ideas because what I've found is being in the pre-sales role, when you become that trust advisor during the pre-sale cycle, because they lock you in, they say, oh, Bill, we want you to do the project. It's like, yeah, that's not my role, but I appreciate the thought. That's awesome. But it's also being in that trust advisor, they trust you, right? So I'm thinking we need to put trust advisor in here on the expected outcomes to be the trust advisor for the customer. What do you guys think about that?
To become the trusted advisor?
For the company to form a trusted advisor service within, internal and a team eventually, because this might be just the start, but then you'll add people and gradually that's what this will do. And that's going to help to accelerate alignment between business objectives and IT support and ITAM support.
Well, that's where it's going. So that's future and that's the delivery, absolutely. But on the pre-sale side, is you want to be a trust advisor for that customer during the sales cycle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody, I mean, yeah, you're right.
Internally too.
You're not an orchestrator at this point. You're a trusted advisor. There's a difference here.
Yeah.
Orchestrator sits on top of what we've just been talking about for the past hour.
Yeah, no, that's true. But being able to have a trust advisor, I was just saying more of the trust advisor, right? That's something we want to put out there. What we got?
We're at 7 minutes.
Okay, cool. We got some great information. Something just came in from Joan here. She says she stumbled upon the session. I love the stumbling. You stumble in the kitchen, you have to get something to eat. That's just how it works, right? Stumbled in the session. I'm learning about responsibilities of IT personality. Great information. Cool. Well, Joan, I appreciate you being here. That's awesome. So appreciate it. Other expected outcomes. What do we think? What comes to mind? Okay, keep in mind this is on the pre-sale side. So we have the solutions, compelling business cases.
Big happy family.
Well, you've got that, but also it's about proposals, right?
But that's where they
back to the line there, right? About expectations, needs.
I don't know that. Does it need to be fleshed out further? Yeah, go ahead. Type. I'm interested in seeing what you put there.
Expectations, needs, and
willingness to part with their money.
I'm thinking
Budget,
about, so what's going through my brain is if you have the proposal, right? Because your expected outcomes are going to drive a proposal. That's really what this is all about. Business case is after, that's saying, okay, business case, how do you align it? But you also have to have a proposal, and that's nowhere in here, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would imagine that would lead to the higher success rate and clear and compelling business cases. But flesh that out.
Business case is clear, compelling.
Okay.
Oh, no, let's do this. Yeah, let me do that. Clear, compelling proposals and business cases that accelerate executive buy-in.
Understanding your RFPs? And request for proposal?
Requirements, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me. I suppose, yeah, we could add that to the outcomes. But like this exercise, we could deliberate for another 2 hours,
Right.
and we'd probably have a 20-item list.
But no, absolutely. But Deanna, go expand a little bit further in your thought there.
Well, I've been on a
Yeah.
few RFP meetings where you sit down with a large group of vendors and you go through the RFP and they all compete to know whether or not they can provide you with what your RFP is requesting in there.
Mhm.
And then you could flush out some vendors even from that initial meeting before you get their data turned back into you to see if they can meet it. But again, I've not been on the pre-sale side. I've always been after the fact. I've always been the worker.
Well,
Yeah, so good, Rob.
so part of that feeds to the proposal. We're coming in pre-sales, and that fits there. But quite a bit of this also sounds like this is after they've signed an SOW,
Okay.
and and the invoice is issued, right? So there's a lot of activity that happens once it's an official project. Oh my God, that was a beautiful learning experience I had at one of my previous employers, because I was able to see all that illustrated. But the bottom line there is, this is going to be to stand up, or to support the pre-sales activity, but then be prepared to do turnover to a project manager to set out the detailed steps of how to perform.
Yeah.
So this is their it's post-proposal delivery, if you will. Excuse me.
So I threw that little RFP, a little nugget down on the alignment part of it.
Sure.
Because that's kind of where you're headed. Because when you talk about the needs, expectations, requirements, things like that, that's typical what you're doing. And you're making me think about, we need to have a session on just how the RFP process works on the other side.
Sure.
Because I have actually
session. Let's do them.
Yeah, I have done that. Because having insight into that, when you have that other side, it's huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
End of life. I've got one here by Joan. She says, would value the knowledge of equipment end of life to be important? Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Especially if you expect to recover it.
Yes.
Yep, that'd be one of the requirements. That'd be a requirement for the customer. Because when it comes to, you're absolutely right, Joan, on that thought. Absolutely. From an overall, what we're going through here is a job description for the pre-sales ITAM solution consultant and what their skills need to be. What you're talking about is the value of equipment end of life. Absolutely is important. It depends upon the organization where they look at that to be defined and how they're defining it as well. It's very critical. Absolutely. But from a role perspective, I don't know if there's something I would put in this job description, because we're writing a job description right now, Joan, just to back us up a little bit. And the reason why we're doing this is because job descriptions around this role are all across the board right now. All across the board, right?
Yes,
and the whole idea was, let's pull it in. We're going to collaborate. We're going to go live and do this. So we're going to make ourselves fully out there and say, okay, we're going to make fools of ourselves and talk about this in front of everybody and have a lot of fun. Let's refine this, and then we can refine what we need within the organization. So the whole idea is whether you need one in your organization, this type of role, or whether you are going to have someone, you have a trusted advisor come in. This is the expectation you have when they walk in the door. That's really what this is, right? Which is huge. So, but yes, as a knowledge of value of equipment, absolutely. Organizations need to be aware of that. And maybe that's a great point as well, is what kind of requirements do we need to have when we start thinking about RFPs, et cetera. That's a whole separate session. I love it. Let's dig into it, because that's what keeps this moving. And trust me, we have enough topics. We can go live every day for the rest of the year at this point.
Oh my God. Each session births 5 or 6 new ones. I've already got 3 written down. A demand.
And trust me, if I can do it, I'll do it. So I'll put that one out there right now. And also from that standpoint, if you haven't signed up yet from a perspective, we're wrapping up here. Oh, gosh, we're right at the top of the hour. It's interesting how this all works. Where am I going? I'm going right here. Please connect to the ITAM Kitchen. That's where we're going. It's actually on YouTube. If I can, I'll do LinkedIn as long as I can. LinkedIn's been a little stubborn. I'm trying to make these live, so I'll be brutally honest. YouTube's going to be a little bit easier, but we're doing our best to help keep this dialogue going, because this is what it's all about. It's the collaboration, having the comments, the chats. That's what this is all about, because there's not nearly enough of this in the industry. Because there's also an entire community I have for this as well, as far as the IT management co-op. So we'll work through that. Yeah. But for now, are we good enough with this one, guys?
I think we are. Joan made a statement, and I'm just going to respond back to her, because Joan, you're absolutely right from what you said about HR.
Oh, was there something else out there? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
You get your name.
Absolutely right. So I think we need to talk about lifecycle processing at some point in time. We can go live on that and have fun. And, we can have a lot of fun on that. And actually, I'll bring in, got some experts right here, but I also know somebody in the UK that I would love to have him on as well.
Absolutely. It's life cycle and strategic life cycle.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. But great point, Joan. I love it. This is awesome. Thanks for all the contributions. This has been a great session. Like I said, we had to put this to day 2 because we got so collaborative in part 1 that we just couldn't get through all the different topics, which is great. Appreciate Deanna, Rob, and Don contributing today. This is great. And I'm going to work on further refining this and I'll wordsmith a little bit and see what we get for an outcome and get it published out there. So we'll publish it so we have something so we can start working with this. Now, are we done as far as when it comes to the ITAM Kitchen, the treasure map on this? Not even close. I'll put it that way. Give me another 30 seconds because now we're going to talk about the value behind the role. Now to the organization as well as the customer when you have this fully refined, right? We're going to talk about some of the expectations and the alignment that can happen when you have the right person involved. How you put that forward. Because that's what's happening today is we're missing the mark. We're missing the mark on that part. So that's going to wrap us up for today. We're going to continue on this discussion with the value behind this role on Thursday. Tomorrow, we're going to have a discussion. We're actually going to have a little quick debrief after this with the rest of the team here for tomorrow's session. Because we have got some things going through our noodler and through our heads and just want to make sure to prioritize. I don't want to make any commitments without talking to everybody first. So do this, but I appreciate everyone's contribution. This has been great. This is what it's all about. ITAM Kitchen, having fun, bringing fun back to what we do with an IT, which doesn't always happen because we're data geeks. I'll be honest, we're data nerds, right? And be able to put this forward. This is what it's all about. Just make it happen. So thank you. We're going to wrap up for today, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Yes.
Like and share.